you have ADHD, you probably feel like a hot mess. Sorry, I'm gonna stop pointing at you, that's rude. And the reason I know is because I have totally been there. But I was looking around the other day and I realized like, I actually don't feel that way. I feel it's my duty to share, and I'm in the mood to do that right now. And we should probably go to my car. I never end up taking you to my car, I'm sorry. Tip number 1, stop setting goals. Yeah.
I am not a medical professional and this is not medical advice.
But I know, like, how will you, like, know, like, what you're moving towards in life? Hear me out. Stop setting goals. Most people are absolutely terrible at like tying their goals to like what they want the real outcomes for their life to be. I always watch people's like monthly planning videos and stuff. And they're like, oh, I want to read 2 books this month. But why do you want to read 2 books a month? Let's say you're trying to learn about business. Then it doesn't really matter if you read 2 books. You have to have read the right books, or maybe you were better off saving the money that you spent on the books and going to a webinar. Like, so in that case, it's not really the thing that like leads you in the right direction. As people with ADHD, we change so much. One month I want to learn guitar, the next I want to learn piano, then I want to learn to do needlepoint, then I want to learn to speak a language. Like, and I know you're the same way. So why set these like random arbitrary goals to just be disappointed in ourselves? These little goals, they're just not meaningful other than to be like, oh yeah, I did that. Cool, gold star for you. So I don't have 1,000 million little goals of like read 10 pages a night, journal, do this X days in a row. Like, no, I have a grand vision, ma'am, a North Star for how I want my life to feel to myself. I want to feel good in my skin and comfortable and confident and like hot, to be honest, okay? I want to be financially free. I want to have friends. I want to be able to afford going out to brunch and not be worried about it. You know what I mean? I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Sorry if you can see, hang on. And mostly I have just wanted to not feel like a mess, right? So it doesn't really matter to me if I follow every little tiny perfect step, every little baby goal to get. I just know that I need to be doing the things that move me in that direction, okay? Sorry if it seems like I'm yelling at you, by the way. I'm not. I'm just really passionate about this stuff. Okay, just by the nature of having ADHD, you already have a lot to carry around in your mind. So instead of trying to remember all your million little goals, distill it down into the North Star. That like North Star of how I want my life to feel, I have distilled it down into
hot, rich, Aaron, okay?
Drink X amount of water today. Did I eat this? Did I not eat that? Did I take my greens powder? Did I take this vitamin? Did I get in bed at this time? Did I walk for exactly 20 minutes at an incline? Okay, I think we all fall into this trap because we feel like our brains have let us down and then we don't trust them anymore. Your brain, okay? I am really trying to live from instinct. I know that at my core, I know what needs to be done. Unconventional and possibly controversial tip number 2, be more selfish. Obviously, if you're kind of already a self-centered jerk, this particular nugget of advice does not apply to you. But a pattern that I've kind of picked up on about almost every ADHD person I know, we are like so, you know, that's not just about like, oh, squirrel. It's also about like people's feelings. I have spent my whole life watching people's like faces for like a micro expression of like anger, discomfort, sadness, you know? And it's not to say that that's not like nice and helpful in some ways, but man, is it draining. It's taken me a long time to realize that if I don't walk on eggshells so that I can attune to like every person's emotional whatever, that doesn't make me a selfish person. If you go into the bathroom and your coworker's crying, like maybe like check on him, like that's, you know, that's fine. But this like, are you okay? Like, are you mad at me? Like bad for us, okay? Be more selfish. You know what? To build on that, you also need a healthy dose of, fuck everybody, okay? I heard someone say this once, I don't remember who. They said, care about people's well-being,
not their opinions.
That was not as satisfying as it should have been. I've heard it said that a lot of people with ADHD are very smart. Like kids with ADHD often end up in like gifted programs. That's what happened to me. And then in college, without the bumpers and like scaffolding of my parents and teachers. Woo! Okay? What I'm trying to say is that my whole life I heard about other people's like amazing expectations for me, and that is a burden. Man, let me tell you something right now. I am working a shift job as a receptionist, more or less. I really don't have anything that like society says most people should have in their 30s. I don't own a house. I don't have kids. I don't have some like illustrious career. I am happily married, but believe me, that's just as much of a shock to me as everybody else that I found someone who can put up with me. Because, right, clearly I'm not keeping the house immaculate. Like, let's just, oh, my eyebrow, hang on. And so now here I am in my mid-30s, probably not meeting any expectation that any person from my past life ever had of me. And I'll tell you what, I don't care. I don't care. I work as a receptionist and I love it. Now, granted, I don't want to do that forever. I would like this YouTube channel to do all right. And to be honest, I kind of want to start a coaching business where I help other people with ADHD because I feel like I can and I feel like I'd be good at that. I don't know, let me know if you guys want that. I don't care if people think that's not like cool enough. It's what works for my personality. I just think it's important to stop trying to be other people. Unconventional tip number 3, hyper-awareness of yourself. I used to think I was really good at managing emotions. I only know how to manage emotions when they're big and in my face and like there's a fight with my husband and now there's tension and I want to resolve it. But I wasn't good at managing the smaller, more insidious almost emotions of like why I don't want to do things. Like going back to me playing solitaire on the couch for 2 hours. My vice is playing solitaire on my phone. I don't know. And I would do this because, oh, I don't want to work on a YouTube video, or like, oh, I don't want to write this essay. Some part of me would just go, oh, because it's boring. Like, of course you don't want to.
It's boring.
It wasn't until I recognized that it's not actually boring. I love writing. I love talking about ADHD and how it affects our lives. I had this realization that
Basically,
my last video about ADHD did like very well for me having as small of a channel as I did when I put that video out. I had 130 subscribers. But you would think someone who wants to be a YouTuber would be like, oh, let me like ride this wave and put out the next video. No, no, no. And it wasn't because it was hard or boring. It was because if I kept on digging, I was afraid that I could not match the success of that video with this one.
now,
To be fair, it's important to be able to recognize like when you're avoiding something and when you actually need rest. And the way that I do this is with a little mini tip I'm gonna give you right now. I call it the couch test. Whenever I am tempted to flop on the couch, whenever I get that feeling of like, ugh, let me sit down, I ask myself, if I were to let myself go sit on the couch right now, would I grab my little throw pillow, put it under my head and take a nap? Or would I whip out my phone and scroll? In other words, do I actually need like rest or do I need dopamine? Now this is important. If the answer is rest, I let myself have that. Sleep is so important and naps are so good for you. Well, I think the jury's still out on that actually. But now if I need dopamine, however, then I try to reach for a higher form of dopamine than say like TikTok. You're not gonna be perfect with this, especially at first, but the better you can get at it. Tip number 4, embrace
the chaos.
I've kind of had to let go of the idea of being the girl who has it all together, or that girl. And you know what? Just accepting that things are never gonna be perfect, that has been so freeing for my mental health. And in that, ironically, did I use ironically right? I don't know. I've actually felt more together because I can take so much of my brain power that's like,
oh, well, I'm not enough, I'm not this, I'm not like that girl, I'm not organized like this,
and put it towards other things that actually do help me get my life together. And so like maybe I don't like look as perfect as her or like have a perfect house or like, I mean, look at this place. It's kind of a mess. And I live with a man, okay? And he just doesn't get it. So he just like, it's either a sign that I need to take a break from filming or I just keep filming in the dark. What are your thoughts? The other thing is to recognize that you don't need to have just one productivity system. A lot...
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I can leave.
No, actually, my light died, and it literally just happened. I will pick this up another time. I'm filming for like 2 hours.
Listen, I actually had a lot more planned for this video, but I just knew in my bones that if I didn't start editing it like right now, you were gonna get this video for 6 months or something like that. So if you have any questions, I answer literally every single comment. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the comment section.